welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today, as always, by the wonderful Leo Vader.
Hello!
And the equally wonderful Monster Hunting Maniac. I think you're the biggest Monster Hunter fan in Minnesota.
I don't know about that.
You think that's accurate?
No.
Dan Tack?
Nah, not in Minnesota. I'm sure there's somebody more hardcore than me.
Hey, speaking of locations, here we are in Astera. This is kind of the hub world for Monster Hunter World.
Hey.
You can see...
Let me guess. This is where you craft weapons.
It's true, and you can sit there and watch this conveyor belt go on and on and on. So just to give you a little background, this is footage that was captured from a recent preview event that Capcom had in Osaka, Japan that we attended.
Ooh.
And this is not... We had a 4-player co-op session going, but this is from a guy from the Capcom community team. So you're not seeing my footage, but you will see me and Hansen and a gentleman from Brazil in the background doing exceptionally amazing things. So anyway, This is the hub world, as I said earlier, where you're going to take care of a lot of business. You can see there's a daily bonus that you can get.
Right. Stop everything. What is that?
It wasn't functional in the build.
Oh.
And they said, well, you could open it up, but it didn't give you actual rewards.
Sure. Okay.
But you will be rewarded for coming
For
every day.
login?
Yep.
That's a strange addition.
And there's the quest board. The hub is very big, but there's like a shortcut chain pulley system that you can hop onto to kind of go from platform to platform. So
and now we're out of the town.
Now we're out of the town. We are fighting, and I'm going to butcher this because the name is a ridiculous made-up name for this monster. This is called a Giratotus.
Oh, Giratotus, the fish thing.
Henceforth be known as Mudfish, just for the sake of this. So here we are
splashing around.
You can see there I am in the background. I'm playing with a light bow gun.
I see you shooting.
That's me!
Jeffy Poo is the name he chose for this professional event.
So who are we watching?
We are watching Capcom's Yuri, who's using the big hammer.
Yeah,
and,
that's a good choice.
Decided to pop a squat right there.
Stunned for you guys to kill it.
Yes. Good choice. This guy's a big problem, but fortunately we're going to see
somebody doing a rodeo on him right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're doing well.
Let's see, who is that? Okay,
Freaks.
Yeah, that's our Brazilian friend.
He's going to town up there. All right. And so what is Hansen using as his weapon?
Hansen, where is he?
He's also got a ranged weapon? Yes. He's using a heavy bowgun, it looks like.
Yeah, so we've got the bowguns covered. You played with the heavy bowgun in an earlier preview.
I have,
right?
and it's certainly one of my go-to weapons in the earlier Monster Hunter games, too. Although
it's super fun.
It's way changed in this Monster Hunter, which is a good thing, in my opinion. The guns are far more usable, and I don't feel like a turret that has to... I don't feel like Bastion.
Exactly. That's how it was.
I can run and gun.
That's a perfect analogy there, yeah. Before, you would run, find your location, and then just kind of plant your feet, and then hope that you were in a position that no one would charge you.
And then you get knocked down right away, and then you have to set up all over again after you drink potions. Believe me, I've played this game for a long time. But this looks cool. So we see Capcom's giving some slams there. Let's see. What I'm trying to look for stuff that hasn't been seen yet. Maybe you can call out some things that are new to this build.
Well, I'm new. You haven't seen my character. I'm a beautiful and powerful lady.
A light bowgun user.
Oh. A light bowgun user. Absolutely. A lady named Jeffy Poo is in the monster.
So are you guys on a mission here? Oh, yeah,
yes, this is a mission. Yep.
Complete an assignment. Hunt a Giratotus.
Yep. Mudfish.
Okay.
Which Leo can fix that in post. He'll just...
I always do.
Replace the Hunt a Giratotus. And this is a mission that actually we did the actual mission. Here he shoots out these globs that will slow you down. And you'll automatically tell everyone, if you could look on the left or the right-hand side, I can't move. So.
Yes. Nice contextual call-outs. Very handy.
Very handy. So anyway, we did this mission, and then we fought this guy just a bunch of times as random freelance assignments because...
you wanted to get gear?
We wanted to get gear made out of him because it's got a really nice defense rating.
Yeah, I would imagine. I always farm those sets.
Yeah,
that's a big part of the game, is farming down the sets you like.
Absolutely.
And getting the set bonuses, which are essential. Are those still in this game? Like, if you wear 4 of a piece of a monster, you get there's set bonuses that activate?
It's true.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff, too. I think the biggest change here is just a ton of quality of life improvements across the board. Like, for instance, you can you can set up like wish lists for armor and weapons, saying like, hey, I really want to build this, and it'll give you a notification when you loot a monster that drops one of those required components.
Very
which
nice.
is fantastic.
That's
and
cool.
then it'll also give you a flag like, hey, now you can craft this particular piece. So it's just kind of surfacing a lot of that information that fans had kind of had to resort to looking on message boards or coming up with their own logs to keep track of those kind of things. Because a lot of it was, they didn't do a good job of presenting that to players, which I don't know if some people may really enjoy that kind of obscure mystery, but as someone who doesn't want to devote their entire life to a game, see, and that guy's running away.
Fake gamer.
Yeah, Mudfish has had enough, so he's scampering off to a new location. You'll notice,
and instead of having to use a paintball like you would in previous games to track him,
right? You'll also notice
follow your nose.
When we jump up here, there's not a loading screen or anything like that. If you pull up the map, it will still have the map segmented into a variety of different zones.
Sure.
But those are primarily for communication, so you can shout out to your co-op partners, hey, he's moving to 4.
I like that.
Or things like that. So you still have that.
Yeah, so there's lots of different elements that come into play now that it is an open world, even though it's not really a giant open world, right? It's like island to island or environment to environment, but still, there's a lot of implications for older Monster Hunter players about that. Like, I can't, like, screen cheese like I used to be able to. Like, if I get hit really hard, I can just bounce off the screen, heal up, buff up, and then come back in.
So, meanwhile, this is a really popular location.
There's some monsters actually fighting here.
For monsters to be monsters. And,
I always think that Capcom sets these up, but they don't, right? Like, this is just like... This organically happened.
Yeah, these things just hang out on this plateau, and then when we kind of scare the fish, I mean, they certainly like sweeten the kitty a little bit. Yeah,
Rathalos fighting the thing now, right?
Yeah, and then that other guy, which you can't see, he's kind of in the background there. That's the Bareth, and
the butt monster.
Yeah, I think that's his actual technical name, and you can see there's some wrestling going on there.
What is going on here?
Yeah. That's the biggest...
See, I have to think this is like choreographed, because like this seems crazy to happen organically, and then it's going to happen a lot in the game. But I think it's awesome if it does.
It's super great because I think you don't need to kind of.
Oh wow, he just got lit up.
It's like a kaiju battle.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It almost just seems too perfect though, right? Like getting in here and the Rathalos just lights him on fire.
Yeah.
But hey, okay, I'm down with this. I like it.
I will take it.
I'll bite.
Yeah,
that's like a 3-way brawl. Gotta get some.
You don't have to do any hunting.
I
at all.
know, right? Like you're gonna loot all these monsters.
Just monster watcher at this point. So you can see he just has to get in there because unfortunately he's got the big hammer, which does a lot of damage. But
I think the most important aspect of the hammer is putting the stuns down. At least if it's like for your prior games.
Yeah, I think if the hammer had a much longer handle, that would help, right?
Yeah, you got to get in close. You got to get
like 20 feet.
You got to get in close and beefy
at least. Yeah, so you can't see it here, but I'm using
special ammunition.
I might be popping in every once in a while, getting very close to them, which to drop off that kind of the light bow guns.
So your hammer user knows what's up. He's going for the head.
Oh
he's
yeah,
knocking it down.
That's typically where you want to hit anything that is alive. Is if they have a head, go for that.
These are good words to live by.
Yeah. There we go. See, I'm rolling around like an idiot.
Each other. This is Monster Hunter right here. I'm really enjoying this. Man, it looks so streamlined and clean.
Now, if you could repeat that line, but in your best Michael Buffer announcer voice, that'd be fantastic.
What is a Michael Buffer?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh.
Anyway.
I don't know if that's appropriate to this game.
Not willing to play along. That's fine. Once again, Leo, we'll add that.
Edit around it.
Yeah, edit around it. So you can see at a certain point, monsters are like there's some element of self-preservation, so they get out of there.
They're breaking off from the grand melee.
Yeah, we didn't see it, but the Bareth, that big guy, looks like he's like carved out of stone. His big gimmick,
butt monster.
The butt monster. He likes to hang out in these marshy areas and cover himself with mud, which will then harden and give him an extra additional
like a
protective
Pokemon
shell.
Harden, yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like a Pokemon.
Kakuna used harden.
Yeah, and he actually calls it out like that with the bark. It's super helpful.
That's
and
awesome.
It's kind of astonishing that he speaks English, but I'll take it.
Hey, these are monsters. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Hanson's in trouble.
Hanson's in trouble. Yeah.
Is he?
I think he's
you
fine
guys
now.
Plenty of healing potions, right? Like, I'm sure they give you enough stuff to survive. Look at I cannot wait to play this game. Seriously.
Yeah, I will say, like, for this demo, though, we started off with the character creation and started from scratch. They did not have, like, a pre-built character or anything like that. So everything you see, all the potions that Hanson may or may not have, he acquired with his own blood, sweat, and gathering. I think he pressed the X button several times.
Everything I see about this game makes me think that it is... I am very hyped for this game.
I am absolutely in the same camp.
It achieves, like, having been playing the 3DS games for so long, and like, which I liked, but they are definitely, from a control standpoint and a lot of other standpoints, a little obtuse.
Yeah, they feel like kind of like a relic in many ways, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I like old-timey artifacts as much as the next person, but in a lot of ways it seems like two for the gameplay to have evolved
Right.
in a way that just happens to align with
This
my
gives you
interests.
the why not both, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no sacrifice to the gameplay. It's just now it's not overly complicated in terms of building stuff or
Now it's for everyone.
no more load screens. Oh my gosh, that's such a revelation. Honestly, I wonder how much time I spent like going from zone 4 to zone 5.
4 hours.
Probably,
I
like
calculated,
especially
actually.
when you keep farming the same mob over and over.
Yeah.
So how many do you know? Have any idea how many new monsters are joining the ranks in this one, or how many are old additions?
That I don't know. We were able to play in 2 different areas, the Ancient Forest and then the Wildspire Waste.
Okay.
This is the Wildspire Waste.
Did they give any indication of how many environments they were going to have?
Of course not. Of course not. They have talked about another area. There's Coral Highlands, I believe, which is kind of a weird...
I like coral.
Yeah, it's kind of like, imagine all the cool visuals from an undersea level. So, like, weird sea anemones and
Seahorses?
coral. Not seahorses necessarily. So all the cool, like, bioluminescence and everything, but without having to swim. So that's kind of the gimmick for that one. It's basically like an undersea place that is just dry.
I mean, knowing Monster Hunter, I'm sure there's a volcano area, an ice area, a desert area.
Well, this is kind of like the desert area in some ways. Even don't pay no attention to all the water and mud. There are dry parts of this map.
Okay.
Which Bareth will hang out.
So I see he's sharpening his weapon. So that's still an element of the game. That
It
you
is
get
still a
whetstone?
sharp thing, but you notice that there is the infinity symbol next to the whetstone. So it's no longer a consumable item in much the same way as like pickaxes are now just you start off with a pickaxe and it will last forever, so you don't have to break them.
Oh god, that's so good. That's so good.
It was a very dumb system before.
I mean,
in my opinion.
it was a pain of inventory management. It was another. You had to do all kinds of inventory management. Was like I'd say 10 to 25% of Monster Hunter, just making sure you were prepared for everything.
And if you like the old school controls, you can still access those in the options. But the new controls are, hey, guess what? You're using an analog stick to control the camera. And you use the D-pad to move around in the inventory, like the quick select, rather than holding down a shoulder button and face buttons to cycle through like you had to do on the 3DS.
You got
oh my
him.
god, look at this! We beat the main objective.
You got him.
And we got a whole minute to feverishly carve out whatever we can get from this guy. It's kind of
that has always been the case.
Yes, absolutely. So that hasn't changed. So pay no attention. So what do you think? You're looking forward to this one, like you said? You're hype?
I rarely get excited about games pre-release because it's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw caution to the wind here and say this game is going to be amazing.
Yeah. I played this for about 10 hours during the event and had an incredible time with it. So I'm looking forward to it as well. Leo?
Hi.
Hi, it's coming out on PC eventually. You're going to buy it? Woo! All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us and watching Jeffy Poo and crew take care of good old Mudfish. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!